it's Nell with the blog Joyous Garden, and today's video is all about answering questions regarding a very popular houseplant. I'd say it's in the top 5, the Pothos. I upload videos on a regular basis here at YouTube, both long form and shorts, so be sure to check them out. If you are subscribed, thank you. If you are here for the first time, welcome. I have a lot of videos for you to peruse in the archives. But now on to the topic at hand, Pothos. So I have the questions here because I haven't memorized them. I've just answered them. But I just want to tell you what I'm going to be doing here. Like the first category is exposure and light, and there are three questions. Does the Pothos plant need sunlight? Can Pothos handle direct sunlight? And which Pothos needs more light? I am only going to answer the first question in each one just to keep this on the shorter side. But longer answers and answers to the other questions will be in the blog post, which is in the description box right down below. So that's where you can find more information. All right, so let's get this party started. This is my Pothos Enjoy. It's the smallest of my Pothos. I have a golden Pothos, which is probably the most common one. You'll see that right after I stop talking in this segment. And I also have a neon Pothos, which has very long trails also, so I didn't want to bring those out. But there are many varieties of Pothos on the market now. The Marble Queen is also very popular, as is the Jade. So does the Pothos need direct sunlight? No, it does not. It actually prefers not to have any direct hot sun at all. It does like nice bright light. I have all of my Pothos in what I would call moderate to medium light, and that is their sweet spot. They grow really fast. I'm also in a very warm climate too, so that helps. But I prune my Pothos on a regular basis because they grow so fast. So the next one has to do with location and where to grow. Can Pothos live in a windowless room? Yes, they can live for a while, but after a period of time they will become stunted, they'll get really leggy, and they will stop growing. Watering. What is the question? How often should I water Pothos? Oh, that's a tough one. I always say it depends on the pot size, the soil, how hot your house is, how cold your house is. Are you in a really humid climate? So it just depends. I let my Pothos go almost dry before watering again. In the summer, it's about once every 6 to 7 days. But again, I'm in a very hot and sunny climate. In the winter, it's about every 12. You will just have to adjust it for your temperatures, your climate, your situation, but I'll just tell you it's better to slightly underwater than overwater. The next one is a growth question. Do Pothos like to hang or climb? Both. In nature, they climb up other plants, and they also run along the forest floor. And I'm Sure, you've seen them for sale like on a moss pole, but in general, they are sold as a hanging plant, and I grow mine as a hanging plant or a trailing plant. Next is pruning, which you will have to do because these plants grow like crazy. And it is, when should I prune my pothos? Like other plants, spring, summer into early fall is the best time, but I'll tell you in what situation I prune mine. Like in my neon pothos and my golden pothos, they're way up high, and I prune them when they hit the ground because I don't want them trailing all over the floor. And like with this one, it sits on the top of a double decker table where I have a lot of plants. It's a side table, so I like to keep it pruned up so that you can see the other plants underneath. And also, this one was getting very thin at the top, and I started to prune it on a regular basis, and it has filled out beautifully. Propagation, yes. If you have one, you want more, or you want to give them away. How do you propagate a pothos? Oh, the easiest way is by stem cuttings in water. That's what I do. You can also do stem cuttings in a soil mix, but I like to do it in water because they root very, very easily in water. And you can also see the action. You can also propagate them by division, but that's tricky business because the plant grows very intertwined. So the method that I like to use, and I think that most people use, most home gardeners, is the stem cutting method. Repotting. I have repotted all 3 of my pothos already. But this question is, what kind of soil do pothos like? And the answer is they are not fussy as to soil at all. A really good potting soil that's formulated for houseplants is fine, but I always recommend to put some amendments in just to add in the drainage, to up the ante on the drainage and to aerate it a bit. I also add in things like cocoa chips and cocoa coir, like peat moss, but it's from coconuts. It's more environmentally friendly, just to make it a little richer mix. And I also add in some worm compost and compost. But that's because I have so many plants and I have a lot of storage space. But if you're short on storage, then just a good potting soil, maybe with a little bit of pumice in there if you can store that too, that would be fine. Fertilizing and feeding. The question is, do pothos need fertilizer? Well, I think all indoor plants appreciate fertilizing and feeding in some way. So yes, I do feed mine. I use Maxi, which I do 3 times during the growing season. And then I also do Grow Big 3 times during the growing season. But we have a very long growing season here in Tucson. It starts about the end of March and goes through, wow, today is September 20th and it's like 98 degrees. We really don't start to cool down till maybe mid-November. So we have a long growing season here. So I give mine a good period of feeding. You may need to only feed your pothos twice during the season using a good all-purpose houseplant fertilizer is just fine. But I'll leave the links to the ones that I use in the blog post and down below for you. This one is pothos in water. Do pothos do better in soil or in water? Now, I believe that they do better in soil for the long haul. That's what I think. The longest I've ever had one in water for is 10 months, and it looks fine. The longest I know that anybody's had one in was a friend of mine had hers in for 2 years, it was starting to look a little bit, you know, the leaves were getting just a tad bit smaller, but it's an experiment I've never done, but I believe it's soil. Misting. Should you mist a pothos? Oh, sure you can. This is a tropical vine, so it would appreciate a misting if you want to do it every week or however often you feel so inclined. I take mine to the sink about every month and just give it a nice hosing down, and it seems to appreciate that. And I wanted to include this category because I know a lot of you have pets, and I have 2 cats. In regards to pet safety, are toxic pothos to pets? Are pothos toxic to pets? And the answer is yes. I consult the ASPC website for all my information on this. I do not experiment on my cats, but they are considered to be toxic as all the plants in the Araceae family, which is a very popular family for houseplants. It has a lot of popular houseplants in it. So fortunately, it's a hanging plant, so you can hang it and keep it out of your pet's direct path if that is a problem that you have with your dog or your cat. I always do a bonus question. Usually that's very easy to answer. And it is pothos a good indoor plant? Yes, it's usually in everybody's list of 5 most popular and easiest house plants to grow. So even if you're a beginning houseplant gardener, or if you're more experienced, you will enjoy the ease of care of this plant, except for the pruning. And again, check the blog post at the top of the description box and at joyousgarden.com for more questions answered and more details on the questions I did answer. The sun's gone behind a cloud. It's still really hot. This is the 3rd video I filmed, so sticking my feet in the water feels good. I hope you have found this video to be helpful. I upload videos all about gardening, both indoors and outdoors here, both these longer ones and YouTube shorts. So be sure and come back for more. Now let's get into our indoor gardens and make our worlds a more beautiful place. I thank you for all your likes and your subscribes. I really appreciate them. And I will catch you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.